Hey
Hey,
Dario, how
bro.
you doing, man?
How's it going, man?
Dude, not bad, man. It's good seeing you again.
Good to talk to you
Dude, we've been
again.
pretty busy. We've been having pretty busy lives.
Yes,
How's your
yes.
life been right now, man?
Busy with work, bro. A lot of work, a lot of projects.
Busy with work?
Yeah,
You've been traveling a lot too, man, huh?
yeah. Stay busy. Yeah. What were
What
your
is
thoughts on the doc?
the documentary?
Yeah. What's your review?
I watched it with my I don't want to give away names, so I watched it with some of my family members and some of my friends here. And it was you could feel the change in the ambiance in the room. We invited some of my family members, some of my sisters invited some of their friends who already knew, and that's the funny part. When you leave a cult and you tell some of your friends who are pretty close to you, they're like, "Yeah, we kind of knew." So this was one of my sister's friends who was like, "Yeah, I kind of already knew, but now seeing it all together, it was an experience. I can't lie, man. It was a thing. I didn't really think about it at the moment because I was just so focused on the documentary. But looking back, seeing the people I grew up with, tanto como my friends or my family members, or even some of the people that I kind of knew about church, but from the outside, you had three different perspectives, or at least that's the way I was seeing them. And seeing now for the first time, in a really good documentary, we were just impressed from beginning to end. It was just that there was something in the air. We could feel it, and we were just completely focused on from beginning to end, and seeing the interactions. It's different when you're a church member, when you were a church member, and then someone who's a Gentile. The way we refer to people who aren't from church, it's interesting. You see, like, one, and some of us are like, yeah, man, or other situations where it got really intense. It's like, oh, I didn't think it was this bad. Uh, But overall, I think the documentary did a good job being very. I think my favorite part, and this is who I think makes me who I am. A part of me is being very uh, as objective as possible, seeing both sides of the coin. So you see how they we talk to the church members and then talk to the victims too, and try to get the clearest picture from both sides, from all sides, because then it wasn't just really church and then. Uh, the victims, because then you also had different other testimonies and different plays around, but you
That
see both sides at least.
that's really important. That part that you just touched on, regarding both sides of the coin. If you notice, so everyone knows what we're talking about. We're discussing
Yeah.
the Netflix documentary. It's called La Oscuridad de la Luz del Mundo. So there was other documentaries that came out before that one that sort of it feels like they try to beat beat
Beat around
um
the bush.
uh, no, they try to race for release. That's I'll talk about that in a little bit, some more, so people understand what I'm talking about, because there's something that hasn't been spoken about publicly much, but honestly, my perspective, my experience is that the other documentaries, they were just rushing, and they were trying to get kind of like the breaking story, instead of taking their time. And that's the thing about Carlos and Laura, Yvonne, the entire Mezcla team that worked in this Netflix documentary, that I really appreciate, that they actually took the time, from the beginning. I mean, we're working on this since about 2020,
Mhm.
2019, 2020, and their goal was not to be the first one, the first team to release this. Their goal was to be the ones that told the story as best as possible, and regarding showing both sides of the coin, the other documentaries, I'm not going to say the names, or because of what the following things that I'm going to say. I don't really want to say the names or whatever, but the point is that they didn't show both sides of the coin. None of these other documentaries on the other platforms showed members from the organization, from the cult La Luz del Mundo. They didn't show them speaking, you know and that's important, because a lot of people, when they talk about people like us that have been through this cult experience, or the brainwashing slash programming, they think it's about IQ. They think, oh, you're dumb, you're stupid, you got fooled. It's not about that. It's not about IQ. Like programming, or uh, you know um, brainwashing, as they call it commonly, can be done to anybody, you know. And I feel, me personally, like when I look at the world in general, I see it everywhere, to people that don't even, you know, that think that they're free, people that think that they're open-minded. But one way or another, or another way, there's always like conditioning, you know, by the government, by institutions, by workplaces. And there's a lot of doctrines out there, you know, things that can be questioned, and that people don't want to question because it's uncomfortable. So anyway, the point is that I really wanted that to be seen, and a lot of us wanted that to be seen, that there is, it's not about IQ, it's not about being dumb, it's not about being stupid. It really is about the conditioning and the programming. And in order for that to be noticed, you needed both sides of the coin. You needed the people in there, the people outside. And you can hear the minister that spoke, and then the other young guy that spoke, and you can see that they're smart people, you know. And so are we. Those of us that left we're also smart people. They're smart, we're smart. It's not about being, you know, high IQ or low IQ. It's a phenomenon. I think the brain is very complex, and I think there's
I
a lot
agree.
of research to be done here. And I think it's a bigger conversation, you know. But I think that's important regarding the documentary showing both sides. That's something that we're all really proud of, you know, regarding the Mezcla team, and that's the name of the team, Mezcla, that they were able to capture that, you know.
Uh, I think that needs to be done, you know, all the time. It's always hard. I think it's hard to, for some reason nowadays, it's hard to try to paint a picture, try to show the story, both sides, because there's always a rush to, oh, well, people are always inclined to the negative. Let's stay on the negative and expose it and almost make it seem it's more than what it is. But you
Yeah,
know, that shouldn't be the objective. And this documentary did a great job showing showing that, because the way they show church in a way made me feel like, yeah, that's exactly how. There were times that when they were showing the church, the parts where it was LDM, I'm like, yeah, that is how it went. That is how I felt. That is how sometimes I worship. It wasn't like some ominous background music going on all the time. It felt at the time was like, this is my reality. This is the truth. This is how it feels. This is beautiful. And
yeah,
I think they did a great job at that. It's
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. And that took time, that took patience. As I was saying, this is what I want to touch on. Is a really delicate subject, but it's one of the things that I wanted to discuss with you today, so that people are more educated. The people that are former members of the LDM community slash cult. Uh, a lot of people criticize, and they're all like, they have their opinions, the reviews saying this one's better than that one, and you know, but what people don't understand is that not many of us, not many people from our background got to speak to these directors, you know, from the different platforms. I did, you know, for example, and that's why I speak on it. And I haven't wanted to speak on it before because I don't really have that kind of platform. You know, I'm just a regular guy. You know, like who am I supposed to tell?
Yeah,
But hopefully, whoever watches this video, you know, can learn something from it. Because I mean, this is just a one-time situation. It's probably never gonna happen again. But I mean, just in life, like you can take lessons, you know, things that people go through and apply it to yourself one way or another. So I just wanted to share this with people to see if anyone could learn anything from this, you know. And I want to say that it's not about competing. It's not about who does things first. It's about who does things right. You know, this is not a race. Also, I've always tried to be an honest person. You know, you know that I take pride in just being real with my friends, with those that know me. And when I first met some of these other producers, you know, from the other platforms, and I saw that they were giving a lot of attention to an individual that individual's known to be a liar, and I'm not gonna say their name, but that person stole stories from the Jane Does, and I've known some of the Jane Does for a long time. As some people might know, I was one of the first people to start the exlldm subreddit community back in 2017. So I was there. Like nobody told me this. This is not gossip. I was there when this person came. This person actually got me thrown out of the Reddit. Like even though I'm the person that I didn't make it, I know the person that made it. This person made it. They made the subreddit, abandoned it. They didn't think much about it. You know, who would have thought? You know that she made it. This person. And then I came and I started
this
posting
is
there.
the ex-member from church.
There's an ex-member from church. You know, she came, made the subreddit, and then left. And then people like me, it was me and maybe one or two other people, we came, we started posting, we grew the community. You know, there was 10 people, it was 20 people, 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. But anyway, we grew it because it's not about who made this. It's not about, it's not about, recognition, I don't need recognition either. I'm just stating the facts, it's about veracity. It's about truth. It's about, sharing real experiences. And that's what we were doing. We're just being very real, very raw, saying this happened to me, that happened to me. And back then, nobody was talking about the abuse, sexual abuse, economic abuse, nothing. We were just like venting about shunning. Shunning was one of the first topics that we touched on, because that's even why I was venting, because I tried to get along with my family. My family wasn't accepting me, so I just wanted to vent. Then I started criticizing the doctrine very early on, around 2017, 2018 on the Reddit. And other people joined. We started analyzing the doctrine, just basically venting /
I
talking
can vouch
shit.
for you because that was around the time I started questioning LDM, and I remember having conversations with you. And you wouldn't, I remember these conversations too when I had my doubts, because you weren't the one giving me questions. If anything, you were almost like poking at me, where I would be the one raising these questions, like, because I had concerns too, and we used to have these conversations before when we were church members. We used to, because we really believed in this. We really were striving to be the best. We were doing it our own way. I was getting up there my own way. You were getting up there your own way, but we had that belief system that what we were doing was the right thing to do, was the ultimate thing to do for a Christian, for a church member, was to one way or another be the leader, the apostle's right hand man in one way or another, just be his support. And we used to have conversations about how could we how can we as individuals, and maybe even get together, make our local church a little better through choir, through preaching, through activities, da da da. And every now and then we also had questions that were kind of above our level of faith, as the church will put it, or it's questions that we shouldn't really raise within the LDM doctrine. But we were okay with that because we weren't really trying to. There was something, I guess, cracks were starting to show one way or another with these questions. But at the same time, we were trying to find answers, because for us, I was like, this is the truth, and we just want to know how to combat certain questions that perhaps the world will have, and do our best and defend this doctrine. So I can definitely vouch you on that.
So you and
All
I
way
were
back
able
then.
to have those conversations back then, because there was trust, because you knew what I told you was sincere. We were a safe space, you and I. And
Yeah.
what I want to say about this subreddit, that's what we did. We created a safe space for people to vent. Before that, it didn't really exist. There was not a place where all young people like you and I could go and talk shit about the cult, because where you and I come from, that was not allowed,
No.
So we created the safe space. That's my point. We created this. And then this person came and told the head mod, the person that created the Reddit, Dario can't be trusted. He must be a double spy because he's too close to the fucking family. Kick him out. So they kicked my ass out, and I was all butthurt, because this was my baby. This is something that I created from scratch. This is something that I grew from scratch along with my other peers, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I got kicked out, and this person got access to the Jane Does, and then this person started messing with each and one of them. Like with each and one of them, she did things, that I'm not gonna speak on because it's none of my business, honestly. But I can
Okay.
testify that she messed with all of them. She stole their stories, and then this person messed with the people that were supporting the Jane Does the most. Each and every one of them. To this day, they don't get along with her, which is very sad, because at the end of the day, we all came from the same place and we should be helping each other. One day, I messaged this person on Instagram and I was like, "Yo, one of the Jane Does actually told me to do this." She was like, "Go, and also at this point we're already working with Netflix, and we said let's reach out, try to mend things, try to create a bridge." I messaged her. I said, "Hey, I know what you did, this and that, but let's squash the beef." She blocked me on the spot. She started talking shit, calling people saying, Dario, he's crazy. The Netflix doc is his idea. Don't work with him. The point is that I experienced all this. Nobody told me about it firsthand. You know, I don't have to. They have no reason to lie. I kept this quiet, for a long time, and the Jane Does and everybody else kept this quiet because we didn't want any issues. We're trying to focus on the bigger fish, which is the entire cult, you know, nascent, like these people that are very dangerous, you know, if you follow what they've done, you know, it's serious. We didn't have time for these kid games, you know, but it ended up
Yeah.
unraveling in a way that this person grew and grew and grew from those lies and started claiming that she started the Reddit, that she started the conversation, that she was the first person to denounce Nason, the first person to be a hero and to start a case. She's not in the case. Like, she's not, you know, look at the document. She didn't sue Nason. The DA of California decided, you know, that she didn't have enough proof evidence or, you know, anything relevant to add to the conversation. So she was pushed out. The Jane Does don't speak to her. The people that support the Jane Does don't speak to this person. I don't care. Like, I'm the only reason I'm saying this, I don't even care about this person's, you know, issues and attitudes. Like, I really don't care. I'm bringing it up because this person is in every single other documentary that has came out before the Netflix one. And they were rushing. One of them, for example, was rushing and then trying to get like exclusivity contracts with people. So when I connected with a reporter or producer for one of these shows, I told that person straight up, hey, fuck you, honestly, fuck you. I said it politely, I said it nicely, but I said, fuck you for telling survivors of a cult to sign an exclusivity contract. I said, that's bullshit. Don't do that, you know? Like, we're here to tell a story as many times as possible in as many places as possible. Don't tell me I can only say it on your channel, you know, or on your platform. And then I told that person, you're working with this person right here that lied and cheated and stole, you know, a lot of people are focused on whether she was a groomer or this. I like, that's crazy, you know, like nobody's even talking about that. Like first you need to educate yourself on what someone that is abused is, you know, like a victim, and then what a groomer is and all that, and you can be both. That's a conversation I'm not going to get into, you know, but a lot of people are so focused on that and they're not understanding that the harm this person did was after LLDM, right? I don't care if she was a victim or groomer or whatever. We're talking about after LLDM. This person was stealing ideas and trying to paint herself as the hero of this that we did, trying to steal our credit. And not that I don't want fucking credit, you know. That's why I've never told this story before. You know, I didn't want to be on the Netflix doc, but this person stole everybody's stories, you know, and try to run away with that credit. So I told this director, if you work with this person, I don't want to work with you, because this person called me the director of this show, or, you know, that was going to put their documentary on a big platform. And I said, I don't want to work with you. And honestly, I don't think anybody should work with you. So this person kind of laughed at me, kind of like, you know, made some faces and, you know, like saying, who the fuck are you? And
Yeah.
I never spoke to them again. So that project was released, right? That's one of the first ones, or the first one. And then another one, you know, also added this person on there. And then the other one also added this person. So this person's on all of them, right? And the Jane Does honestly said, if this person, straight up, they said, if this person's on these docs, I don't want to be on them. That's what they said. Okay. That's a big deal. That's a big deal, you know, because that's why, you know, I feel like this is an important conversation, because, you know, we want to tell the true story. We want to say what really happened, you know, and I feel like that really means a lot, you know. Then regarding the documentaries also, they were telling people, some of my friends came out on all the documentaries, and I'm not going to say this person's friend, but one of my very close friends, she says that she regrets being on all of them, on all these documentaries, because they lied to her. These producers told my friend that this person, ex-person, was not going to be in this documentaries, the liar. And every single, they lied. So and they didn't just lie to her. I've talked to dozens of people that are on all these other documentaries. I think there's like 3 of them. And on every single one that this liar is on, you know, the producers lied to my friends, telling them, you know, be on this. She's not going to be on this. Don't worry about it. And, you know, so I feel like that's important for people to know, because these projects where they don't care about us, you know, like honestly, like they care about being sensational and extra, you know, and views. They don't care about telling the true story. They don't care about the Jane Does or else. Like, we try to tell them the truth. We try to tell them that, you know, that's what's so special about the Netflix one, that they actually did hear us out, you know. And even though there's a person that is relevant, connected to the ex person on the Netflix one, I still to this day, you know, don't understand 100% why they added this person. I guess this person spoke well, but still, you know, like this person's not necessary. They didn't do anything. Like we're the ones that have been fighting this whole time, not these people that are just trying to take credit. But I mean, you can't win them all. The point is that, and the directors told me that the reason that this person's relative, the liar, is not actually on this is because they promised us, you know, they promised Jane Doe, they promised me that they wouldn't add her, this person, but they did end up adding her relative slash friend, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, it's politics. I feel like you can't always get what you want. But it's relevant because the other ones were rushing. That's what I was trying to get at. All the other projects were rushed. The Netflix one came out so late, you know, like 3 or 4 years after it began, because the point was to tell the real story. The point was to tell both sides of the story, or to tell, you know, the whole story,
The whole story, the truth.
not just to rush it, yeah, and to tell the truth. And that's why the Jendo's story is so important, because it's the truth. Because this is a very serious conversation, you know, grooming young girls and boys, the way that the cult leaders did is very serious. You know, it's not something that can be just brushed off. And you know, you need a lot of time to think about how to show this to the public.
And you could see the differences. Even remembering seeing the other documentaries. I talked with. We always have a conversation at the end of a documentary. Well, if I'm watching with my friends or some family members, and they're like, "Yeah, there's some inconsistencies," and you could
Yeah,
spot off the bat there's inconsistencies.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would rather not get into that. Like I said, I even feel bad
But
for this person, you know, because like I do understand that everyone that was born and raised in this place and has a lot of healing to do. But you know, even now, you know, this person, I think some news just came out, very uncomfortable news, that this person, the liar, is trying to force the Jane Does to go and defend her in court. When, like I said, the Jane Does are not her friends, you know. And I don't
yeah,
speak for them. I'm not their representative. I'm just friends with 2 or 3 of them. So
this
I know the
person still
story.
has the audacity to go out and talk to the victims, the Jane Does, where this person had already manipulated their stories on her benefit, and still
Now
trying to
she's trying to have them go to court and speak on her behalf. So
audacity
for her own
her own benefit.
for her benefit. Yeah, it's crazy, but yeah, I want to move on from that. Let's talk
Sure.
about something else. It's a sign, you know, when you have issues with everybody like that, it's a sign that you need some help, man, and you need to go find it. You know, before you act like you're somebody's hero and like you're carrying such a heavy cost, maybe you need to do some inner work first. You know.
What do they say? It's better before you start saving the world, save yourself first.
Yeah, man. That's why I stepped away, you know, from this conversation for a while, because it definitely is a lot, you know.
It is a lot. I mean, that's the reason I stepped away too from making videos. I'm like, no, I gotta focus on myself. It's I think it's something we carry from church too, in a way. We almost carry the that need because we were doing the same thing when we were in church because we were trying to emulate what he represented, and we come out and we almost try to do the same thing, and then taking too many steps forward without realizing, all right, let's take a moment and figure ourselves first out. And it's
Yeah,
still, it's still a journey. It's still
yeah.
quite the journey. But it's surprising how far we've come along. It's 2023, end of 20, almost 2024, and we had a conversation. We just casually said, "Wouldn't it be interesting if a documentary of LDM was made?" And finally, this Netflix one felt like, damn, here's a very good documentary showing both sides, and to show, as you said earlier, like it's a program. It's not about who's smart. It's not about who's dumb. It's just, and this isn't the only cult either. There's so many other cults. This one's pretty big considering it's like part of the
And
biggest in Latin America. And
mhm.
for us, we were involved in it, and we
And
see
programming is not exclusive to religious cults or cults in general. Like
the,
programming, like I said, it can be
from the
done
micro level all the way to the macro level.
through. I mean, I think government. You know, like there's a reason why there's revolutions. There's a reason why government cease to exist and people rise against government, because you know the power. It's about power. You know, the person in power wants to have the control, and they want to filter and choose you know, what you're allowed to know, because knowledge is power. So
Oh
then,
yeah.
you know, they create a program, and they run it by you, they inject it, and then they make sure that you just go in a loop, you know, instead of being human and creative, and all of us, you know, our nature should be to find whatever it is that you want, anything in life. Like the loop or the program is kind of like a circle, like do this over and over and over again, you know. And then in LDM they have you going to church every day and singing every day, giving money every day. They're just taking advantage of you, but they got you in a loop. You know, the government also, through, depending on which one we're talking about, has you in a loop, and then you're not free because you're just going in circles your whole life. You're just doing the same thing over and over again. That's why some people, you know, with the 9 to 5 jobs, you know, like they feel exhausted. They feel like it's not what we're meant to be. You know, it's about that, and we can talk about this in so many different ways, but it's important for people to think about this. And like we said, it's not exclusive to LLDM or to cults. You know, and I hope that anyone that watches this documentary, you know, applies the lessons, you know, to themselves. You know, whether you grew up in a religious cult or not, I hope that people watch it and say, okay, what am I ignoring, you know, in the world? I mean, right now there's a lot of good examples, like what's going on in the Middle East. Like he's killing them and they're killing him, you know, and back and forth. And a lot of people are brainwashed into thinking, oh, territory, you know, the borders are real. And they're not. You know, borders are not real. No land, you know, my opinion is either no land is sacred or all land is sacred, you know, either or. But to these people that are fighting, they think that's the only sacred land, kind of like where we come from. You know, like they got that same type of mentality that they have a holy land and a holy man. You know, like, and they're fighting
Yeah.
over him and they're killing over him. Same thing there. You know, they're killing and cheating and stealing because of a piece of land that doesn't really matter. You know, like they can move to Utah, they can move to Montana, to Africa, China, wherever they want. Like there's space for all humans. We shouldn't be killing ourselves over that. But people are killing themselves over that little piece of land because they're programmed. Like I was looking at Facebook comments the other day, and a lot of Christians are commenting, uh, like LDM members, actually, not just regular Christians, but cult members from LDM were commenting, "God bless Israel. God is gonna speak for Israel." You know, because they're so obsessed with Israel. Because
Dude,
they're
we
because they
have
think they're part of it.
our names come from our Arabic or Middle Eastern. Isn't that interesting
Yeah,
too? In that
yeah,
programming.
yeah, yeah.
For some reason we have that link that well,
It's
in my
it's
opinion,
just, it all goes back to the, you know, it all comes from the same place. So yeah. It makes sense when you follow the trail, but anyway, it's programming. You know, it's bullshit, and it just, it's meant for us to, it's to take away our freedom, to take away our rights. You know, hopefully the documentary, I feel like, I think one of the goals was to anger people. You know, to make people feel something, because people
it, it
usually are
did
so
that.
disconnected, they're so detached, that you see all these atrocities in the world, and people don't feel anything anymore. Oh, so and so got a, you know, this, I don't even want to say the words, you know, I don't want to say molested, I don't want to say sexually abused, I don't want to say raped. Why? Because it's like, you know, it's a taboo to even talk about these things. But when you say it and when you actually understand it, like I feel like everyone that has watched it, I showed it to coworkers, the documentary, I shared it with a lot of friends and that knew nothing about this, and they called me mad. They're upset, and that was the goal, to make people feel again, because the program also makes you, you know, disconnected. Although, and that's how you know the program is out there in the bigger world, you know, because people don't feel like people, like, if it's not happening here, I don't care. If it's not happening to my family, I don't care. It's happening, period, and it's happening to thousands of people all across the world, not just in LDM. Women, young kids, you know, men, everyone, you know, like they're being abused, sexually abused. People are being raped, you know, systematically, because that's what it is in LDM. It was systematic sexual abuse. It was systematic X abuse, Y abuse, like all these types, but they were systematic. And that's what people don't get. Like it's a lot different from versus when, like a
Can you
passion,
add on to that?
like a crime of passion is kind of like, you and I, let's say we get angry and I beat the shit out of you, you know, but it's a one time, versus like a systematic situations where I beat your ass every day, and I starve you, and I weaken you in order to make you weaker than me, so that I can kick your ass every day. And I'm your master, and you're my, you know, you're my underling,
Yeah.
or whatever. So that's what slavery was, right? So it's a lot different. I'm not saying one is okay and the other one is not. I'm just saying one goes on forever and the other one is a one-off, right? And that's the thing that people need to understand. Like, these women, these girls were being sexually abused every freaking day for years, and they're being
And
taken
for the
advantage
people
of because
listening,
they're
it's
being
not
told that it's
just,
in the name of God,
and for the people listening, it's not just five, just those Jane 5 does.
We calculate, per what I've heard. I know dozens of people, that have been through what the Jane Does went through. Personally, I know dozens, but I know, per my calculations, it should be thousands, because this went on for almost 100 years. It's confirmed that Aaron did the same shit, Samuel did the same shit, and then now Nathan, and it's
This,
thousands.
this is going to be a
What?
hard.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about this. Why they're not speaking up? What I think, because Asalia Rangel is still on the run, and she was Nathan's right hand. She controlled the money. She controlled everything. She was like his main person. What's Maxwell? What's Epstein's?
Mm.
Yeah, and that's what Asalia was, and that's what she is. So her being on the run is like, she's still moving. The bodyguard. She's still moving the money. She's still moving the institution. Like, everything goes through her. Not even Nathan's wife ran the shit. It was her. Yeah. But Rosie Sosa was Samuel's right hand also. A couple of these women. Like,
I've heard that name before.
yeah, she was mentioned in the Netflix documentary by Betsabe, who's also a good friend of mine. Yeah, she
Mhm.
groomed her. Rosie Sosa.
You estimate the thousands, and it's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people who've left church, because I've had some of these conversations with people who have left church, and some of them still feel that, you don't think Aaron or Samuel was a true apostle then? Some of them have that mentality that think Nathan obviously wasn't the true apostle. There's a lot of people who think it ended with Samuel. They still see this man as uh, someone who was special, because a lot of the brainwashing ended around Nathan's era, and it's hard for a lot of people. I've had these conversations with some of these friends, like, there's, even the way they talk about it, it's almost it's in a respectful way when they refer to Aaron or Samuel. Like, you really think there's no way? And that's when we start really having this conversation, like, you think it went that far back? I'm like, you think it just started? Where do you think it starts? What do you think would end here? But it's a hard pill to swallow. So you say it goes all the way back to uh, Aaron's time,
Yeah.
Eusebio, however you want to call this man.
Eusebio, yeah.
And definitely continue during somewhere and Nathan's.
Yeah, and then Samuel did this shit for 50 years. That's a big, like, Nathan only got 5 years. Like, from 2014 to 2019, when he got caught, he did this systematic abuse. He committed this systematic abuse for 5 years, but Samuel did it for 50. So, do the math. Like, it's crazy.
And you say systematic, it's not just in Mexico.
No, it's
It's
all over the world.
Mauricio.
Yeah, no, I mean, the main place where they felt the safest was in Mexico because of their connections, to X and Y people, and like Samuel. It sounds like in '97, they made the allegations just poof disappear, and then with Nathan, the only reason he was caught was because it was the American authorities that moved against him. But I mean, Mexico till this day hasn't done shit. Like, the hope that we had with the documentary was for it to make people angry, make the public angry again, make them feel again, and then maybe raise their voices and help us speak to the government officials and say, hey, help them out. Like, it's not a small deal right here. We're talking about thousands of women being sexually abused, and you're just gonna sit there and do shit. What is the government for then, or what are we paying them for? Because they work for us, our tax money. That's how they still afloat. So they're not doing their job, especially in Mexico. And even the US didn't do their job properly either, because they give this guy 16 years. So it's really this is why people don't want to speak up, because they're not seeing justice. So they're like, what do I speak? like this is what these people get, for we've been talking about this since 2017, like I said, and some people since before. I mean, Karen de Leon since 97. She ended up taking her own life. She said, she said, I'm gonna go deal with God. I don't believe in God, but she believed in God. She said, I'm gonna go speak to God about this because she saw that the people here are not doing shit, you know. And yeah, for us, I understand why a lot of people don't want to speak because they're not seeing results. And the goal is, hopefully to see some results. If not, why do anything? We're trying to change something,
If there's something that can make someone move, that documentary did that, executed that really good with the ending. It for us when we were watching it, we did not expect it. Like, whoa, it was if the room was already tense, that just you drop something, you could hear the whole room when she made that statement. Like, wow.
yeah, that was pretty deep. Like I said, I'm agnostic. I'm free. I don't believe in anything. I'm just learning. But I respect, her logic. For a believer, if I was a believer, that's what I would think. I'm not saying I would take my life, but I'm saying if you believe that there's a supreme being, like I think it makes sense to go get some, responses, some closure, because the world's fucked up. Everything that's going on here is not cool. And my belief is that we're powerful, that everything that's here is because we've allowed it, and I feel like if everyone got together, we could change the world for real. But I don't see too many people caring about it, and that's the issue. The people don't care, like something happens, like I'm not gonna say names again, but this movement and that movement, X and Y, and everyone puts it on their bio, and everyone, posts comments. It's easy to do that kind of activism because it's not affecting you, because you're not about it. A lot of these people, they don't live in the hood. To be blunt, they don't live in the places where
The
real
actual
stuff is
environment.
going on.
Yeah.
So it's easy to post about it from your, no matter what part of the world you're in or how you live, whether you're rich or poor or this color or that color or this religion, no religion. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're not really living it and you're not doing anything about it, posting something on the internet, it's not doing much. Sometimes, stuff, it happens at home. Like, there's racism at home. Like, there's phobias at home. There's a lot of negative stuff happening at home. And do you dare say something to your father, to your mother, to your cousin, to your sister, to your friends? And I'm not saying you got to argue. I'm not saying you have to fight them. I'm saying that's where the work starts, at home, And I've seen a lot of people that are activists when it comes to all these other movements, but when it comes to LDM or the cult, they left the cult and they haven't said shit, haven't said one word, and that's the issue, that so many people just choose to leave and they act like this is not their problem. And so how do we make the world a better place, if we don't talk about these things? How, like, you gotta talk about it. You gotta speak things into existence. You gotta educate people. Like, I don't have an antivirus, I don't have a solution for the programs that are, keeping that loop of systematic abuse. But if I had like one I don't know, what would I say, advice to give people, I think that's the first thing. Like, think about it, number one. Number two, speak on it, and then act on it. Like, to me, those are the steps. But if you don't go through this, like, what are we doing? Might as well just, that's why people, I think people do understand this, and that's why they try not even to think about it. They're like, this is negative, this is bad, I'm not even gonna think, I'm gonna act like it doesn't exist, and it doesn't exist to them. Meanwhile, thousands of girls were still being abused in the cult, and you chose to remain quiet about it. You chose to just walk away, and focus on you, you know, and that really sucks. I personally understand, focusing on yourself, because I've done that too. But I feel like it's a balance, like, work on yourself, grow, take care of your home, your family, your career, and I've done all that, but still every now and then come back and help, keep talking about it. And I feel like that's a big help. I would have never thought I know we used to joke about the Netflix thing, a couple of years back, about, oh, one day we're gonna get a Netflix doc. But I mean, we did it, and it's something. I'm not saying that it's everything, but it's something. And this might lead to the next thing. I mean, we had no idea how this was going to happen. I was just telling somebody earlier, one of my friends from Guadalajara called me earlier, and he was like telling me that his whole family sent me greetings, and that they watched it and so on. And I was like, bro, I had no idea how this was going to happen. I was just venting on the internet. And that's the thing, like, everyone just needs to exist. Everyone needs to allow themselves to feel, think, and speak, because if we don't speak about it, that's what they want, right?
Yeah.
You see how hard a cult works to keep us quiet? If you don't speak about it for whatever reason, you're giving them what they want, you know? And a lot of people are not doing it. A lot of people are not quiet just because of the cult. They're not afraid of it, but they're just doing it for themselves, A lot of people are like, no, I'm going to get away from this and start fresh. That's cool, but you're doing what they want. And that's why it's gone on for 100 years, because so many people left quietly. But because we have the internet, because we have this tool that they didn't have in 97, that they didn't have in the 50s, we were able, because of this tool, to share our opinion, to voice our opinion, and to vent. And that's how we got here, through speaking about the subject, like I said, creating a safe space. Yeah. So I just feel like people need to continue doing that, not just about this conversation, but anything that you see in life, any injustice, just talk about it, keep the conversation going, create safe spaces for people to speak.
I think that's very important. What you said earlier, I think you're right. Work on yourself first. Once you got yourself kind of figured out on good
I think it's
ground,
it's I think it's like hand in hand, like there's always going to be internal work, but I feel like
general work.
find your
Right.
balance, like do what's best for you, but also like give a 5% or 1%, to something, to a cause. I don't
Yeah.
know,
Sure.
especially
It's
if it
it's
hits home,
never
like
changed.
this is our thing.
Yeah, it is
If
our
I'm supposed
thing.
to speak on
In a way,
something,
it is our thing.
I'm supposed to speak on something that I haven't lived, because like I also rap,
Yeah, this is
to
what we experienced.
I like rapping, and I like writing poetry as a form of expression and to vent. And a lot of people tell me, why do you rap about religion and politics and philosophy? And I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to rap about? You want me to rap about money? You want me to rap about foolish shit?
Yeah,
Like, for what?
you rap about
Like,
your
I
experience.
can
You
only,
express yourself,
exactly, I
what
can
you
only live
went
my own
through.
experience.
Yeah, that's what you can really tell. That's how you can display your rawness. It's like, well, this is what I went through, and if you're being honest about it, it could be something beautiful, chaotically beautiful too. But you need to be first honest with yourself too.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people I think are embarrassed too that we went through this, and that's why I keep repeating it. This is the whole world. What are you embarrassed about? You
Yeah,
know, the whole just because you grew up in a religious cult, like, bro, the whole world is brainwashed. The whole world is programmed to a certain level. I'm not trying to sound cool. I'm not trying to sound smart. It's just the truth. Whether I say it or not, it's the truth. And for all people, it's embarrassing. Like, oh, I don't want to be affiliated. Like, affiliated with what? You don't want to be someone to speak up for people that are being abused? How is that not cool? How is that not a good thing?
yeah.
But people see it as something negative. They're like, no, they're gonna think I'm dumb, and that's why I highlight we're not dumb. We're smart. We're all smart. It's not an IQ thing. We shouldn't be embarrassed about this. We really shouldn't, because the whole world is going through this. You see it in all the conflicts all over the world. Like this stuff happens everywhere.
Same formula, different disguise.
Yeah.
To use a different costume. But once you break that one bubble, hopefully you paid enough attention and realize, all right, how did I break this bubble? Is there a way I can avoid myself? Because if it happened once, it can happen again and it can continue happening. And I think that's the scary part because we were so protected in this world uh, of LLDM. I remember me coming out of from church and posting on Reddit. The title was "Ignorance is Bliss," and being ignorant, not knowing about this, remaining ignorant is a state of beauty in a way because you're not seeing the dark side of it. You're ignoring it. It's all lights and bubbles and all that, but that's not reality. And then when something actually happens, are you going to be prepared? You're not going to handle it well.
Yeah, that's very important. I know a couple of people, or several people, that when they came to loved ones and told them about the abuse, either the family didn't believe them or they believed them and said, we can't help you with this. So it really sucks. This is why people don't speak up, because there's no support, because people don't give a shit. People are not feeling, people are like, it's not my, I had somebody tell me, it's not my problem unless it happened in my family. And I told that person, I was like, it did happen in your family, like you just don't, you don't want to see it. And they ignore me. They act like I didn't say that. Instead of asking me who, so they could start caring, they just avoid it, what I was saying,
No.
because they just want to be right. They just want to, people just want to, like you said, live in bliss, live in peace. And to a lot of people, peace is, just being ignorant, and not being aware and just being disconnected, and I mean, it is hard, to learn things. It's hard because it comes at a cost, like
Yeah,
you
it's
need to.
destroying the thing that you knew before, and then here's something new again. I gotta.
Yeah, for me, I mean, the way that I am, I like learning, and I like, uh, I'm okay not knowing anything. I'm okay accepting all that. But for a lot of people, and that's the issue with the programming, that they got the world convinced, like people with power, like or the ones in power got everyone convinced that you gotta know everything, or like we got the internet like at our fingertips, and we act like we know everything. We don't.
No.
A lot of the shit in the internet is fake. Like, if not most of it, like the history books are fake. Like, I don't even want to get into the conversation, but like the point is that they got us really feeling like we know what's up and we're so smart. Like, we're like the most civilized humans in the history of the planet. We don't know that for a fact. Like, when you start doing research, you realize that might all be a lie. So again, like I said, we're in a little bubble, and yeah, you said it too. But there's bigger bubbles. And once we came out of the cold, me personally, like I realized, whoa, like I see more things going on out here. But you got to find a balance. That's why I was talking about that earlier. So like you can find a way to navigate your experience in this world without that driving you crazy. And you got to be okay with being a student of life. A lot of people don't want to be a student. A lot of
Agree.
people don't want to not know. Like, they rather have a prepackaged idea, and say, I know everything. I'm good. I know why I'm here. Like, bro, like nobody knows why we're here. You're gonna say that you know why we're here because that's more comfortable. That's easier. That way they don't have to do any work. And but it's what sucks about that is that it creates a lot of problems, because when all this negative stuff is happening in the world, they're like, I'm praying. Okay. And what does that do? Or they're like, oh, I trust the government. Okay, the government's not doing their jobs. The praying's not working. Now what? We gotta take this into our hands. And that's kind of like what we're trying to do here. We're trying to like I think speaking up is an act of rebellion, even just speaking up, because everyone tells you shut up, shut up, shut up. And us speaking about it more and more is an act of rebellion, because we're saying, fuck that. We're going to keep talking about it. Are we allowed to curse on YouTube? I don't even know.
I
They might,
don't care,
they're
man.
going to demonetize your video, but I hope you don't care about that.
I don't care
But,
about that.
yeah, do you even make money off your videos? Sorry. Have you made
I
any
don't
money
care.
from your videos?
No,
Have you
no,
ever? Okay. Okay.
never have.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, it's hard. It's hard to go against the current, and people don't want to do it. I just hope that people start feeling again. People watch that and it'll just be human. Like see that people are going through real things. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. Like, we have to take part of this conversation, especially if you grew up here in LDM. I hope that you're more vocal and aware. But just anyone can watch this. I had a couple of coworkers watch it, and they felt very familiar, to the struggle. It hit home, because
Yeah,
this is
it's
not
home.
it hit home because it's
It's
not
not
a conversation that's
exclusive
exclusive to us.
experience.
It's not.
Exactly. There are some things that happen, like you said, whether it's in your family, in the micro level within the nuclear family, or on the macro
Yeah.
level, the government, a nation, a country, the world. It's there. We all experience it one way or another, and it's very important
Yeah. Yeah, I think we
that.
just gotta keep the conversations going and creating safe spaces for people to discuss these things. And then maybe we'll find some solutions. I don't have any right now personally. But how are we gonna come up with them if we don't keep talking about this stuff? Maybe
Yeah,
somebody will hear this. Maybe somebody will watch a dog that might be able to help us. Somebody that's. I don't think everything in the world is bad. I'm open minded, so I think maybe the right person hearing the documentary in Jane Doe 4 and the other Jane Does, hearing Alithia, hearing Betsabe, hearing Joel, or any of these people, I hope somebody will hear us and say, I want to help them, you know? I don't know. It might happen. Then maybe we can change something. There has to be some people out there that want to help, right?
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's plenty of people who at least feel something. It's the next step. It's like, well, how do I convert this emotion? You know, how do I make this good? How do I make this into something positive? Or sometimes it goes to the other route too, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. You know, turn something negative into something positive. I mean, that's also what the doc is about. Like all those raw emotions that Jane Doe 4 was sharing uh, are meant. You know, it's very heavy stuff that she's sharing with the world, and she's turning that struggle into, like I said, an act of it's that act of rebellion is creating a apparently a negative reaction. You know, making people feel anger, but making people feel at all is positive
It
because people
is.
are so numb. You know. And I love that. I love that everyone that has watched the doc has been upset. I saw that in Mexico. It was all over, like all the radio shows. Adela spoke about it. There was this other funny guy, Don Nacho or something like that. Some funny guy, and like, and they were all like angry. Everybody that has spoken about this lately is angry, and I'm like, that's what I wanted. That's what we wanted for people to feel like a part of this because they are a part of this, you know. We're not an isolated group, we're human, you know. Yeah,
It it was trending in Mexico for a while too. And I think that's
that's,
the biggest impact, in my opinion, importance within that country. It's
yeah,
the hardest thing.
I have bittersweet feelings about that because it was number 5 on Netflix, the top number 5 movie for a week, and then number 7, number 8, and right now it's number 10, and it was like it's about to follow the list. So yeah, I mean, even the fact that it was on there for a week or two is great, but I mean, hopefully something happens, you know. It's
Change
bittersweet.
happens. Sometimes it's slow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for some of us, it's been like, I mean, I left the cult in 2017, and I started working on this project or uh, you know, movement, whatever you want to call it, since then. So it's been about 6 years for me. Yeah,
6 years.
yeah, going on 7. So yeah, I never thought we were gonna do all this. I don't really have any goals. It's just like I'm just going with the flow, and I think a lot of us are too. We've learned that we can't obsess with this. Some people were involved in the court, in the actual court, you know, they were struggling, you know, and then at the end of the day, the 16-year thing happened, you know, and that was very last minute. And then I think that hit them that you know, we don't have that much control over this, and we just have to be ourselves, live our lives, focus on ourselves, and then when possible, keep this conversation going, you know, especially the people that are more involved. You know, I think it's harder the more involved you are, you know, because you're carrying a lot of trauma, a lot of feelings. Uh, but I think it's hard for everyone, you know. You can't really experience their experience. You can only experience yours, right? So you don't know what they're feeling. I know that you feel a lot. Yeah, I've spoken to you about this. Like you have big shit going on in your life because of this, and I don't know if you ever want to open up about it with the rest of the world, but you have your struggle and it's big. You know, it's yeah. I have mine, and I would say for a lot of us it's life and death. Kind of like for Kerem Delone, it was life and death.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like it's like that for a lot of us. We just don't speak on it because we don't want people thinking, well, you know, there's something wrong with us or that we're weird or crazy. But it's a big deal.
Well, those are the labels that we get. I know when I came out, and I made that video, uh, what was it, 2 years ago? I had people that I known that weren't from church, some ex-coworkers telling me like, yeah, we thought you were crazy. You know, those are the terms that just pop out a lot. Like, "Well, I thought you were crazy. I thought you were, you know, a little off the head, dumb." And it's like that's you understand there's, but they don't understand sometimes. And I think a documentary like this will make them realize, oh, there's other stuff in my life that's very similar to this. Oh my God. Okay. You almost have to reevaluate yourself, and you keep reevaluating yourself too, hopefully. And programming is it's hard to get out, but it's so easy to get in.
Yeah,
Once you got in the loop, you're in the loop. To get out of that, man, it's a struggle.
yeah,
If you can get out of it at all.
yeah. Cool.
Do you think Reddit's still a good safe space?
Uh,
XLDM?
uh, it can be, but like since it's bigger, and then also that's another tough conversation. But let's talk about it anyway. There's some moderators that were given access that should have never been given access. So, just because you're a supporter of our cause or our conversation, doesn't mean that you're qualified to moderate our conversation, right? And I've spoken to you about this before. And there's one specific person that I appreciate a lot because this person has helped, but she is definitely somebody that I personally myself, I taught them a lot about LLDM. I took a lot of time and I shared a lot of knowledge. But when I shared that knowledge for them, it wasn't with the intention for this person to moderate our conversation. Well, this person was given the keys, and then with good intentions, you know, but this person and other people that don't really have, to me, the necessary knowledge to help moderate that conversation. They've been the ones running it, for the longest. I never became a moderator because I didn't want that. I don't think anyone should be moderating this conversation, honestly. I think sometimes it hurts more than it helps to be approving and disapproving comments. Like, let everybody talk freely, free speech. We've fought and people die for that, right? For a reason.
Yeah.
Are people gonna say some dumb shit? For sure, but people are gonna ignore it. So let everybody say whatever they need to say, But yeah, so it's, for me, it's not a safe space sometimes because the wrong people are moderating, you know. I've told them several times to just drop that and let people talk freely. We even people very close to the Nathan K situation told me and asked me as a favor to start another subreddit called Exposing LLDM.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah, about 10% of the people on the XLDM went over there to follow, but we don't post much there. Some people do say things here and there, but the goal was that, like, less moderation, let people say whatever they want, post whatever they want. And for a while it worked. There was some recordings that were shared / leaked, some documents. So that's what's important. People gotta have a safe space. Like, we don't need somebody that is a guest or a conversation reviewing everything that says, because a guest is not gonna know,
No, much less someone
the
who's
struggle. Yeah, especially this person's Christian, and this person is very still, like, close-minded when it comes to religion. Sorry, I don't mean to offend, but it's the truth. And I've told this person so many times, like, drop it, stop talking about religion here. And they stop with time, but at the beginning they would even invite the Jendos to church. My friends would be like, what the fuck, what's wrong with this person, But this person doesn't get it because they're still programmed with certain things, and they're never gonna do the work, because the older you get, sometimes, sadly, the less, that you're willing to do that work. And yeah, this person did that. I remember one time I told this person to drop the keys to the Reddit, and this person told me, go start your own Reddit. Imagine how I felt. Like, I'm the one that drew this conversation, lady, And,
yeah.
and she dares tell me, like, go start your own. So I told that to the people that I'm telling you. They're like, fuck that, let's start this other one. It's just, that's the issue. That's why I personally don't even go on there that much anymore. I come back sometimes, because my friends that are actually doing things are asking me to help,
Mhm.
and I do it to help them.
Yeah.
So it can be a safe space, if you think of it that way, but just be aware that there's, things here and there, and just ignore those people, honestly. At the end of the day, this is our conversation. It doesn't matter who made the subreddit. It doesn't matter who moderates the subreddit. They can't stop us from talking about it. We can talk about it wherever the hell we want. And, it's a free conversation. It's a free country. It's a free world, if you see it that way. So nobody's going to moderate me and tell me what I can and can't say. So if you go with that mindset, you're fine. You can, and if they don't approve your comments or whatever, go to the other one, to the Exposing LDM. You're welcome. If you don't want to post it on there, use your own social media, create your own safe space, you know?
This one is called Exposing LDM.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also and like you said, there's other individuals who've opened up like Instagram accounts. create your own safe space too. Have these conversations. It's as exposed as we are to the rest of the world through the internet. Uh, it's still hard to interact with people, different time zones, try to have conversations, etc., etc. But even within the people that you may know, hopefully a group close by, you have your own group or virtually, and maybe eventually this could lift off into
Yeah,
something
yeah,
else.
yeah. Like I said, like I never thought that doing this subreddit was gonna end up doing this. Like honestly, I don't take credit for anything. I think I'm a piece. Everyone's a piece of the puzzle. But I feel like if I was removed, somebody else would do my job. But I'm surprised. Like what I'm trying to say is that I'm surprised that I had any part in this. I when I was venting on the internet back in 2017, I thought I was crazy, dude, for real. Like my ex, I would talk to her and I would be like, "What am I doing?" I think the first breakthrough that I had was when I started posting about childhood indoctrination, and Nathan started noticing, and I knew he was noticing because one day I would post about it, and the next day at 5 a.m. he was already telling the church the opposite thing, and this happened for a couple of days, and a couple of us took notice. Like I even tested him. Like I would say certain things to see if he would repeat them, and he
Uh-huh.
would. So that was my first breakthrough. I said, we're getting to him. We're doing something. And the story goes that Nason became so obsessed with the Reddit that that's how some of the Jane Does even got to the Reddit because he was telling them about it. So if you think
There
about it,
were
like
those leaked images talking
I
about
made
Reddit.
I made Nason mad, or not just me. Like we made Nason mad. He became obsessed with the Reddit. He told his people, "Don't go to the Reddit," and then his
And they
people
go
came
through
to
it.
the Reddit and stayed. And those people, some of them became the Jane Does. Some of them, not all of them. I'm sure the others, but
Well,
that's so it matters. People think it doesn't. It
there's a lot.
matters. So someone's always listening. Some of these people, they tell me now that they knew me. Like when they read it, they're like, "We know it's you." Like one of them tells me, "I knew it was you, Dario." Like I knew. She's like, "I read some of the posts. Maybe not my post, just post." She told me she read some posts and then she cried. And this person was essential to this. So like we all matter. We're always told, in life that we're small and that we're just one, whatever. But I mean,
Well,
it's a lot
especially
about what you want to
LDM,
believe.
you
Yeah.
come out thinking you. It's a dichotomy of thinking you're so special, but then at the same time you're like, man, you
So
were a
small.
worthless piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, the description they would give you, especially when you go ask for the Holy Spirit, man, it's
And
just
it's just manipulation. You know it. So it's better for me. It's been better not to think about that. I think that's just the ego, and I don't like thinking that I'm small. I don't like thinking that I'm all that either. I do try to empower myself, but I also think that everything that I do, I go about life thinking that it's gonna work. And that's been my methodology. In my career, for example, like I went from making a few dollars per hour to a career that I always dreamed of. And I don't talk about this much because I always keep some of this stuff to myself.
yeah, your
But
private life. I get you.
yeah,
Same here.
but what I'm saying is that if I can do it, anyone can do it. And I can do bigger things. Like a lot of CEOs that I work with, like they'll always make comments about and like legit, like they'll invite me out to eat and they'll be like, hey, like I think you can definitely be this and you can be that. Why are you not doing this? And at first I was like, I don't want this, I don't want that. And then as time passes, I'm like, okay, maybe I will take all those things. You know what? Maybe I do deserve them, and maybe I can use those tools to help people out. I don't know. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. But like you said, it's that
It's
dichotomy,
that program.
like telling us we're great and that we're small just to mess with us. I forget about all that, and I said, and I've learned just do it, just talk about it, just be yourself, just make friends, and don't make friends, like do whatever the heck you want. But definitely be honest with yourself and be honest with others, because being honest with others and venting, that's how I helped, create this conversation. And then the Jane Does that I know, they've told me that they're grateful for that. The other survivors that I know are grateful for that. I'm grateful for them. To me, it's mutual. Like I'm not, I feel like we share energy. So yeah, just do it. I feel like everyone, whether it's a safe space, that's XLDM Reddit or not, I don't think that really matters. What I want people to take away from this conversation is that just start somewhere, just talk anywhere. Like honestly, maybe that subreddit is already it's done what it needed to do. You know, like I always say this to some of my friends. I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of what we did, but at the end of the day, I'm not. That's not my life. That's not my peak. You know, like that's why I never become a moderator, because I didn't want to be obsessed with that and like be focused on that. I go in there every now and then, like I said, because my friends request for me to post certain things and do certain things, but that's not the focus of my life. Like the after Reddit, I look bigger. So we did the Netflix thing, right? And even if I hadn't come out, you know, and my name wasn't in the credit, like I can be proud of myself and say I was part of that work from of that project from zero, and I helped guide them in the right direction. That's another thing that when they came to me, the directors of the Netflix doc, they were looking for the liar to interview this person, and I was like, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. I was like, let me tell you the truth, and I was the first one to tell them the truth about this situation, and they didn't want to believe me. You know, like I don't know if anyone will ever have a chance to talk to them about this, but they didn't want to believe me. They were like, "What?" So it took them a while to understand like the reality. And then one day I told them that I knew this because I knew so and so, and then I connected them to so and so, you know, and then you know that's how we got the project together. But so I do matter, you know, like that's what I'm trying to say. I matter, and if I matter, everyone matters. Like if I went from being the crazy guy venting on Reddit to helping put together the Netflix doc, whether I came out like everyone, my friends keep sending me that joke that you and I were saying before we started recording. You're like, oh, you were in it for 2 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I was in it for 2 minutes, but I didn't even want to be in it at all because that was not
Yeah.
my goal, you know. I didn't want to be in there for 2, 10, 20 minutes. That's not the point. I wanted my goal always was for the Jane Does to have a voice, and I'm proud to say that I
Have to
made that
keep
happen.
exposed.
Yeah, yeah, and it's about assisting. You know, it's cool to assist. It's cool to you know set things up for others. It's not about me. You know,
No, you
it's
look at
about
the
all of
bigger
us.
picture. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it matters, and like maybe the Reddit already did its thing. Maybe the Netflix is gonna do so much, but then after that, there has to be something else. You know, these are like steps, and I don't know what's next. No, I hope my dream was like to influence for all of us to influence all these thousands of girls, you know, to come forward and speak on this and make a change. You know, but I mean, maybe I'm just crazy.
Well, you're crazy until something happens, right? And it actually starts happening.
Yeah. Well, we'll see
But
what
we
happens.
do hope for the best that, it's we do hope for the best that more victims do come out and have that be able to power up and show the support that and people can back them up and show them support because the worst thing you want to hear is from a perspective from theirs, I believe, is not believing them.
Yeah, everyone talks about supporting survivors and victims, but I don't feel like people really do it in real life, you know, and that's very
Yeah.
sad.
But I think right now the step with this Netflix documentary is a, a very bright foot towards the next thing, whatever the next thing is. And hearing the stories, hearing the stories and having people feel something can maybe motivate and keep this ball going, like you said. Because it has to stop. 1926, that's almost 100 years now. In 3 years, it's going to be 100 years of this. People aren't going to believe. A lot of people who have left or who are still in church don't believe that they believe that all this is a lie. Can this continue on? It probably could. Can this be
Yeah,
stopped? I think it can be
I,
stopped too.
I think what bothers me the most is not just the LDM situation, but just the lack of action by the government towards these situations. Because it's happened a few times in the past few years, and it's actually, I feel, always happened in the history of humanity. But anyway, you're talking about like recent times, recent governments, like all these cults and all these organizations, you know, all these companies and you know, their leaders that have been doing stuff like this, like Scientology, you know, and then the Mormons, the what is it, the Latter Saint Days, to be more exact. Um, the what is it?
Nexum.
Next, there's I could name a bunch, but like the lack of action by the government is scary, you know, because they always like the government has intelligence agencies, You know, why are they not doing something about this? Why are they not, using the resources? It's our money, you know. They work for us. So why are they not paying attention to all this? Why is there not a commission that investigates? They're starting with religious organizations, and not just them, but like human trafficking is a big thing. And who's talking about that? I don't hear presidents talking about that.
Big thing, man.
It's
Yeah.
it's embarrassing. So that's I think that's what makes me uncomfortable. And I wish everyone would unite, not just the LDM, but like all these other uh, people out there that are like us and that have seen systematic abuse like this, and we would all like push the government to do something about systematic abuse, human trafficking, and all these sort of things, because there needs to be like a commission or something in the government. There's commissions for agriculture and for this and that, but and who's supervising this? You know, I feel like it's important. I feel like it's worth it. But it hasn't uh, happened yet. I've never heard of it. Maybe I'm ignorant about it, but I've called a lot of places, and a lot of us have looked for resources, and there has been none. There's some agencies, okay, Ashton Kutcher, whatever you call, and nothing. They're like, call the cops. There's all these foundations that are just phony, that just serve for these actors and for these celebrities. I've messaged so many celebrities, bro. Like, I don't even want to sound crazy, but I've made so many phone calls, DM so many people. Nobody has replied, bro. And I'm not the only one. Several of us have done this, and nobody listens to us. But then these people go on talk shows and, on Ellen and Oprah, and they're always boasting about their help. They're not really helping. It's bullshit. So that's what pisses me off. It's not just LDM, but I feel like just the lack of involvement by the government, the lack of resources, it's scary. That's why people don't speak up. Because for what? Nobody wants to work for 6 years like we've been doing. Like, what are we getting from this? We don't get thanks from anybody. We don't want that, but you get what I mean? Like, it feels like there's no progress. Like 16 years, bro. I mean, it's a bit. Just you look at it like from another angle. It's crazy that we even got that far. Like who would have thought? But still
Who
not
would have
fair,
thought?
right? It's like we're begging. Like we're begging for justice.
It's because people don't realize how big this is. People
I
really
think
don't
it's big.
realize how
Human
big.
trafficking is scary, bro. And people go missing, man.
Well, there were a lot of that was going on during his trial too.
Yeah, it went on in LDM, and it happens all over the world. People go missing, and yeah, it's scary.
Well, I say specific LDM because this is, the people
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
affects,
yeah.
keeping a hush.
That's another thing that there is a lot of threats, and we don't speak about this as much. But people have died for this cause. There's a CV Orozco died, and yeah, nobody knows exactly why she died or how she died. I mean, regarding the circumstances, like we know she was shot in her home in Hermosa Provincia, but we don't know everything else, right? And what's scary to me is that a lot of us do know that how involved she was with Samuel and with Nathan and with the Joaquin family and LDM, and so that's scary because we know that part, but a lot of people discredit it by saying, "Oh, but we don't know that's why she got shot." I mean, are you not seeing like everything else? Like like do you want to release a statement that they actually did it themselves? There's more. Like I've received threats. Like when I went to Provincia the last few years, uh, the the son of a guy, a caretaker of the Joaquin's house. He was walking
Uh-huh.
behind me and he was making comments about me, calling me an enemy and threats. Another one, a son of a doctor that was one of Samuel and Nathan's doctors, very famous too. His son was also. And this one thing is funny that I'm not even scared of these guys, but it's not about being scared of one guy or another because I think I can fight or whatever. It's not about that. I'm a very peaceful person. I don't care for that dumb shit anyway. But it's about several people organized threatening you. It's not that I'm scared of one or the other. It's like it's not just one or two. It's dozens of them that want to kick my ass and don't just want to kick my ass in a fair fight. They want to, stab me. They want to, 10 or 1, kick me while I'm on the floor. Like I saw shit like that when I was in the cold. Like there was one time when one of the Samuel's grandkids pulled up in Betel. Remember we talked about this a long time ago? I was in the
Uh-huh.
store, my friend's store, and then one of Samuel's grandkids pulled up and took one of my friends. with him because my friend was dating his sister, and this guy, the grandkid, didn't like that. They kicked his ass. The grandkid and somebody else kicked his ass, brought him back, and the guy looked like shit, bro. So that's just one instance, and I've seen this. I can give you dozens of these stories, and the point is that people have been killed, people have been hurt, for talking against this family or for standing up to this family because they're bullies, and that's another issue because these people have a lot of money. Like they're some of the most rich families in Latin America for sure, and they got connections in the government, they got connections in other places, that I don't even want to talk about because it's scary shit. And what are we supposed to do? But I feel like we got to ignore that and keep the conversation going, because like part of their power and the reason they have allies is because their allies think that these guys are maybe something they're not. Maybe we can get some of these politicians to work with us. Again, I don't think that all politicians out there are shit and garbage and corrupted, but maybe some of these decent human beings can hear us, and maybe some businessman, somebody, can hear our story and help us because the threats are real. So all we're doing is trying to create a safe space for kids, so that kids can grow up without being indoctrinated by any religion, by any government, and just for them to be healthy and happy and grow up. Is that too much to ask? It's crazy that we got to be fighting for this. Like people think it's just LDM is our experience, but it's not just about that. It's bigger than that. It's about freedom. It's about people growing. In a like how we always say the U.S. is the land of the free, and then all these Mexico and all these other countries always boast of the movements of liberation and the revolutions, and we're like, oh, we're free thanks to this guy and that guy. Are we really free? And we're living in fear. Fear that you'll get kidnapped. Fear because there's been people that have been kidnapped in the LDM. And then all over the country it happens. Outside of LDM also. But we live in fear, and that sucks. Because what is the government doing about it? I've spoken to agents, and I'm like, hey, are you guys gonna give me any help? They're like, no, we're not gonna give you any help unless you turn somebody in. And I'm like, I don't have that kind of proof. They don't care. Honestly, they don't care. A lot of times, you're just like, they're focused on their job, trying to put a big fish in prison, so that they can raise their necks and be like, oh, I did this. Like they didn't do it, we did it. You know, it's a lot. There's a lot that we could discuss, but I feel like we covered a good deal. Hopefully, some people can gather something good from here and help themselves.
I think so too. I think we go back to the documentary. I think what it did was it made us feel something. Even the people that I can speak for myself. I'd been feeling numb for quite a while because I've distanced myself, focused on myself. But something like this is always necessary. It's like, God, that's right. We came from that. Oh man, I used to believe in that. Oh, that's right. This happened. Mm.
Yeah.
We keep the conversation going. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And Dario, if there's
Thank you,
anything
bro.
else, yeah, man, anytime, no problem. But if there's anything else that you always want to have and talk, feel free. And we can, like you said before, we don't even know what we're gonna do. What's the next step? Who knows?
Yeah,
But can we at least can the conversation keep going?
yeah,
And I think for me, the most important thing is, hopefully can we stop that from happening? Can there be no more victims? Um, who knows how long this can continue on if we continue, people just stay quiet. I left, just keep it like that. It's gonna continue. You don't think, yeah, don't you have family members in that church? Don't you have friends who are in that church? Can't it happen to them? Could it happen to their kids when time passes by? How long is this gonna continue? And it's on us. And hopefully this conversation can continue going on. And if not us, maybe somebody else can come up with a solution, or just vocalizing this out loud.
yeah. Yeah, no, thank you too. I mean, the reason I choose to speak to you about this is because I'm comfortable with you and I can just be open with you, you know. So I don't really like interviews. Um, if I ever done any, it was just uh to help spread awareness, you know, and then the Netflix thing was just because the directors wanted somebody that was close to Nathan to speak on his character and some things about him that didn't make the final cut, and that's totally fine, you know. But again, I didn't want to do it. Like I'm not really like someone that's just trying to put my face out there. But some of these conversations, honestly, some of my friends, including the Jane Does, including other survivors, have asked me recently to speak about them more because I'm one of the few people that can speak about it. So I chose to come to you because I feel like you've been working on this also. You deserve credit in that. I know you don't care about that either, but I mean, there's a reason why people have been watching your videos. I mean, 3,000, 5,000. I don't know what's the most you've had. It's a lot, you know. It's a lot, and that's something that you did because you also chose to say something. So I would rather come to you as a friend, you know, and support you, and also just feel like, you know, it's just a conversation between you and me. It's just a friendly conversation, and I feel comfortable. I feel like it's a safe space versus going to somebody else, you know, because there have been other people that have invited me, and I don't agree. Like there's people that do it for the views. There's people that do it for, you know, for the wrong reasons, and a lot of times they're not even experienced in this conversation. So I just stay away from all that. But with you, you know, there's trust. So yeah, I hope that the people that know you and the people that have seen your work and that appreciate you watch this, and hopefully they share this video, you know, because there's a lot that we're sharing here that has never been spoken about before regarding the LLDM conversation and situation. You know, it's important that people know uh, how much work the Netflix documentary took and the challenges that we had to go against. You know, like I said, our own people that should have been with us were against us. You know, and we're trying to beat us to the race or something, and that sucks. And then regarding the Reddit, it wasn't easy either. Like again, I don't care. It's not, that's not the peak of everything we've done. That was just a tool. You know, maybe it's run its course, but it's important for people to know that it's a good example, you know, of something incredible happening. You know, like little 10 people conversation becoming into this. You get me? And that's important because I want people to have hope and faith in themselves. You know, not in outer sources and gods and devils and governments. Like believe in yourself. You know, like somebody's gonna listen to you. So just speak wherever you want. Like you chose to do it here on your channel, and I feel people have heard you. You know, and there's others. You know, you're not the only one. We're not alone. So yeah, I just want people to hear about that story so that they can, you know, gather that from that. You know, like to understand that it matters. What you say matters, and to know that there's going to be challenges. Like I said, I made that. You know, I grew that, and then I was kicked out of my own thing. Like, that sucks, but it's okay. You know, I kept going. So I just want people knowing that everything's always going to be okay. Like, you know, even if you get booted from your own project, I'm still here. You know, like at the end of the day, like whether people find out or not, in my experience, the right people always find out. You know, because all the people that really matter in the conversation with regarding LLDM and Mason, etc., all the right people that actually made a difference, I appreciate and they appreciate me. You know, the people that are mad and hating and whatever are people that didn't do shit. So like, why should I care? You know, and I know it sounds egotistical. It's really not. It's like these people are very toxic. And, you know, they're always trying to hurt people and steal from people, and I don't have to worry about that. I got my own energy to protect. You know, so yeah, just focus on the right things. So don't let jealous people, you know, get to you. Don't let people, you know, that only care about views and money and all these superficial things get you down. You know, I say that, and I'm not saying that to you. I'm saying that is to everybody because sometimes, you know, people think, you know, because you're not getting immediate results, it's not working. I mean, again, we've been working on this for 6 years, and you know, we finally got. You know, I feel like the biggest accomplishments one was getting Mason caught. That's a big deal, and
That
getting him
was,
getting him processed and all that. All that was crazy, and then getting this Netflix documentary. That's something that we're proud of. When I say we, I mean the people that really matter and me. The other ones, the other documentaries, we're not really proud of. And even though some of our friends are on there, we look at it and we're like, we just shake our head because we know what's behind those projects. You know, we know the lies. We know, you know, you get me. People might think what I'm saying is petty, but you really got to hear what I'm saying, you know?
you want the truth, man. You don't want any lies.
Exactly.
You want to be as objective as
But
possible.
it's also what I'm telling you is that they were also getting in the way of the Jane Does. You get what I'm saying?
I
It's
get
not
what
just
you're saying.
about not just that they were lying or telling the truth or whatever. It's also that they were trying to get in the way of the girls that actually put Nathan in prison.
The people that actually put the work, that put
Exactly.
the victims that actually put the leader of this big organization called LLDM
So when the other docs
behind
came out,
bars.
we were happy because the word's out there, but we weren't as proud as this Netflix one. You get me? Because
Yeah,
this
I
one
get
was
you.
this, years of work and like, the right conversations, the right people, and then the other ones were really trying to get in the way of this and trying to like steal uh the light or something, or like ride our wave, or I don't know. It's crazy. I'm telling one, like, this last one literally put the date right in front of ours, and they and you could say I'm crazy, but like they were literally lying to my friends about who was going to come out and who wasn't going to come out, just to convince them to be on it. Like the way they brought people in was based on lies. Like there's so many more things that I could say. I'm not going to say because honestly, it's nobody's business. I don't know anybody any explanations. If somebody wants to believe me, cool. If they don't, whatever. Make your own assumptions. At the
Yeah.
end of the day. But I'm saying the two big things that we've accomplished was Nathan getting arrested. I feel like most people don't get to do something that big in their lifetime. Like you don't get to see a bad guy like that and say we're gonna get him. Like we got him. That's a
Yeah.
crazy. That's amazing. Never would have I thought that the conversation would take us there. And then a Netflix documentary that is actually, don't think I'm obsessed with Netflix. I don't care, like, honestly, where it came out. It just so happens that there's a Netflix one, right? But uh, just why I'm proud of that one is because, again, because of the work that went into it, you know, because of what it means to the people that actually put Nathan in prison. And like I said, the other ones were sort of like against them, kind of like, but by giving a
Very
platform to a
manipulated.
person that we kept telling everyone was stealing and lying, about the Jane Does and about her relationship with them. So I don't know if I can make it more clear than that.
I
I
think
hope.
that's pretty clear.
I don't
That's
know.
pretty clear.
It seems like we've actually told a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but some people in the past, and they haven't understood it. That's why I'm concerned that people don't get this. Like there's people that we've told, hey, like people that have podcasts, people that have tried to help. We tell them, hey, don't associate with this person, because we don't actually say that. We're more like giving them the facts,
The
and we're like,
details.
you're like, maybe you don't want to do
That's
this,
on
maybe you
you.
want to do that, like, like
Yeah.
just, and people don't get it. People are like, no, we support everybody, like we support all survivors, like, but that's not. I mean, okay, whatever. I've learned that if you can't control it, just let it go. Let people do whatever. People might watch this and think I'm crazy. They might not know why this is important, but the Jane Does know, if they're watching this, they know why this is important. The people that were close to them know why this is important, and anybody that actually put Nathan in prison knows why everything that I'm saying is relevant. And you can, I guess, if you want to hear what I'm saying and like put the piece together, you'll get it too. But I feel like some people are just not on the same frequency. Like, there's actually been some posts on Reddit where people keep saying, I support everybody. I don't care about this drama and whatever. Like, I guess, if that makes you happy, go ahead, do that. But what are you doing about it?
Actions speak louder than
Like,
words.
just saying you support everybody doesn't do anything, honestly.
You know,
And once you actually get involved, when you get on the ground with the people that are actually making a difference, then you'll notice why it matters. Because then that person that I'm talking about is gonna approach you and he's gonna try to recruit you. And if you don't work with that person's gonna go around telling everybody you're this and you're that. You get what I mean? So yeah,
yeah.
it's easy to say that you don't care and you support everybody when you're not part of this. But for each and every single one of us that has worked in this conversation, real life, we've had to deal with this. That's why we care, and that's why it matters. It's easy to say, oh, this doesn't matter to me. Yeah, because you ain't doing shit. Yeah, no, yeah. So I just hope, anyway, I hope that people learn something from the documentary, and people are uh, able to maybe find it in their heart to actually help, not just post about it, like call, like maybe I feel like if all of us called somebody, like maybe it can make a difference. Maybe because it was just a few of us, nobody cared, but maybe if all of us call our representatives or whatever, maybe something can happen. I don't know. I just don't, I don't have all the ideas. Like there's so many of us, like there's some things that I'm good at and there's things that I'm not good at. So maybe somebody out there that has the means and the talent can make the next difference, you know? And someone can take the next step. Maybe it's not up to us anymore. So whoever's watching this, you know, if you got a talent and you got a way to help us be heard, step in. You know, you don't need my permission, you need anybody's permission. You know, this is not really, I know I kept saying the word movement throughout this, but personally, I don't think it's a movement. I just think it's a conversation, and it's everyone's conversation, you know, and anyone can just join. You know, it's not my conversation. It's not even the Jane Doe's conversation. It's everyone's conversation. So if you feel like you can help, like jump in and help us take the next step, you know? Yeah, that's the message I want to end this with.
Well, again, Dario, I appreciate you, your friendship. I appreciate your time. And we hope that this continues, the conversation can continue and actions can back up these conversations as well.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
nice talking to you, and I hope the best for you, man. You take
Yeah.
care, all right?
Thank you, bro.
All right, man.
Bye bye.